than the church. Not because of sermons or platforms or Instagram followings. The church is powerful because the church is forever united. Watch the word, united. Watch the word, united. Watch the word, united. Because she was not always. How did all this happen? Where did all this start? How did the Holy Spirit get united with the church? How did the Holy Spirit make you and I so powerful? It's right here in our text, where Luke records the most important Sunday after the resurrection of Christ in church history. Luke chapter 2, Acts chapter 2, and verse 1. When the day of Pentecost arrived, in the old King Jimmy it says, when the day of Pentecost had fully come. They were all together in one place. Stop right there. Luke wrote, when the day of Pentecost came, all of the believers were in one place. Now the Jews had many feasts and festivals that they used to commemorate seasons and important events that happened in the life of their nation. One of the most important festivals they ever celebrated was the Passover. And then 50 days after the Passover, they celebrated another festival called the Feast of Weeks, or the Feast of Harvest, which got a new name, the Feast of Pentecost, which means 50, penta, like Pentagon. 1,500 years before Christ's ministry came to earth, the people of God was in Egyptian slavery for 400 years. For 400 years, they cried out to God for deliverance. And near the end of that 400 years, God started speaking to the answer. They're crying out for deliverance, God is talking to the answer. They're crying out for deliverance, God is talking to the answer. They're crying out for help, God is talking to the answer. Because not just because God's not talking, that doesn't mean he's not working on your answer. You say, I feel like God is not hearing me right now. No, maybe he's working on your answer. So they're crying out for deliverance, God is speaking to the answer, and the answer comes in the form of a man named Moses. God calls a man named Moses, sends him down to Egypt to lead over 2 million people free from Egyptian slavery. Through Moses, God overthrows the nation of Egypt with 10 mighty plagues. The last one was the death of every firstborn child. Moses tells everybody in the city that night, kill a lamb, take the blood, put it over your door. And when the death angel walks through the street, he will see the blood on the door. God, watch this. And the death angel will pass over your house. The people then are delivered from Egypt. The firstborn of Egypt died. They come out of Egypt, and then they're led to a place called Sinai, a mountain. 50 days after they're led to Sinai, Moses is on top of a mountain. He comes down with the moral law, the 10 commandments, 50 days after the Passover. After those 50 days, when that 50 days come, that was a celebration of God's provision, his goodness, his kindness. They celebrated with a gift, an offering unto God, 50 days after the Passover. This is the symbolism in Pentecost. It's symbolic of God's goodness, his favor, his mercy, his giving, his generosity. And Passover was celebrated for over 1,000 years. It was only a foreshadow of the death of Christ, the ultimate lamb. During the week of Passover, around the year AD 33, the ultimate lamb was killed on a cross. That was the final Passover in history. Then 50 days later, on another Sunday, comes the final Pentecost of history. This day right here, Pentecost Sunday, the final Passover, the final Pentecost. Now notice it says on this Sunday in Pentecost, all of the believers were together. You remember it was 120 of them in the upper room, and they had been in there for days praying and seeking God's face. Man, 10 days had gone by while they was in that upper room praying. That was enough time for them to descend into discord, but they were praying. That was enough time for them to descend into other things, but they were praying. That was enough time for them to get weary, but they were praying. That was enough time for them to be frustrated, but they were praying. That was enough time for them to have doubt and unbelief about what Jesus said, go and wait, but they were praying. They were in that room praying, going through the scriptures because they believe what Jesus had said. He gave them final commandments: make disciples, be my witness, go into the city, wait until you're endued with power from on high. So there they are on the day of Pentecost, 120 of them gathered in the upper room, verse 2. And suddenly, there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. I want to draw your attention to this fact. Suddenly, they said as they were in there praying, something happened unexpectedly. They heard a sound. I feel the Spirit of God. They're in there praying, and out of nowhere, 10 days later, they hear a sound like a mighty rushing wind. I want to draw your attention to the word mighty. Man, it will probably sound like if you've ever heard the winds from a hurricane, that sound like a freight train on the outside of a house. They're sitting in that room and then they hear winds, something like sound. It was mighty, it was powerful. It probably sounded like a freight train. They said it was like a rushing wind, Luke wrote. Wind is synonymous with God's presence. The word wind in Greek means pneuma, where we get breath from. It was God who made a man from a lump of clay, and then with pneuma, he breathed into him the breath of life. It was God working through Ezekiel in a vision who saw dry bones, which represents the state of Israel, and breathed into them life. It was God through the Holy Spirit that breathed into men to write the Holy Spirit. So we know that when we see wind, it represents God. It represents his breath. It represents his power and his presence. And it said they heard that sound. It was like a mighty wind. And then watch, suddenly something happened in that room. Man, this is powerful to me because right here in this text, it reminds us that the words of Jesus can be trusted. It was Christ who said to them, go into the city, stay there, in a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit. And here comes the Holy Spirit rushing into that room from heaven. So we know that the words of Christ can be trusted. The words of the scriptures can be trusted. But not only that, we see the response to prayer. They were not in there 10 days wasting time. They were in there praying. And we see how God responds supernaturally to prayer. They're in there seeking his face, and then suddenly, man, a sound comes from heaven. It's just a reminder to you and I, hear me, how God responds to our prayers in supernatural ways. Man, last week in a meeting, it was our director, Danny B, of Global Missions for 2019, was sharing with us powerful stories we never saw from Access when we had that prayer gathering at State Farm Arena. And amongst those testimonies was a brother from some other city who sent a video in. And in his video, he was telling this story of how he was diagnosed with a terminal disease and the doctors told him he was surely going to die. He catches wind of Access in State Farm Arena, books his ticket on a flight, flies to Atlanta, comes to the arena by faith, saying this will be my last attempt for healing since the doctors can't do anything for me. He gets into the arena, he's sitting in a chair in the bleachers, and he's believing God for healing. And he makes a video and sends us the video. He goes back to the doctor, and they are confused. And now his health insurance is in a jam. They don't know what to do with him now because he's supposed to be dead, but now he's still alive. And we're watching this in the office, shedding tears in the conference room, remind of how God responds to prayers in supernatural ways. Man, they were in there praying for 10 days. Some of us can't pray for 5 minutes. And you wonder why God's not moving, why he's not breathing. Man, we can't even sit still in his presence for 5 minutes. You have no idea what God would do when you would just be relentless in prayer. You'd be banging on his door like, Lord, it's me again. I don't give up that easy. He said, whoever knocks. Lord, it's me again. I'm talking to you about this again. I'm seeking you for this again. I'm praying about this again. And it said that room, something shifted in that room. Watch the word, suddenly. I love that word, suddenly. It reminds me that God can change any circumstance suddenly. He can invade a marriage and change it when he gets a hold of a husband's heart suddenly. He can repair a broken relationship suddenly. He can heal a physical body suddenly. He can lift you from depression suddenly. You could get a phone call for a brand new job suddenly. One handshake ushers you into a new season suddenly. You have no idea the things that God do in somebody's life suddenly. It was summer of 2024. My wife and I were gone. When we get phone calls like, Pastor Philip, something is happening. You're coming back to a different church. Like, what's happening? People are coming by the tens, hundreds, thousands. We don't know where they're coming from. Something just happened in the church suddenly. Watch. I wasn't here. So you see, it's not contingent upon a man. The Holy Spirit was stirring something up in 2019. And he started drawing people to the church by the thousands. Suddenly. One summer. Went from a church of 500 to several thousand in a summer. Suddenly. Supernatural. Verse 3. And divided tongues as a fire appeared to them. Oh my God. And rested on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Oh my God, this is so much heat. Man, picture the scene. I'm a pictorial person, so I read the scriptures, I see images in my mind. 120 people in a large room. They don't have no electricity. It's the first century AD. They got candles burning in that room. It's dim. You have some people laid out on the floor praying, and some people sitting against the wall praying, and some people on their knees praying, and some people are walking praying, and then suddenly they hear a sound.